action starts here. The Vancouver Boat Show.
Welcome. Good afternoon. My name is James Patrick. I'm the founder and president of ProMarine Products. ProMarine is a small manufacturing company that prides itself on creating unique and innovative products for the recreational fishing industry. One of our innovative products is our Pro Line Hauler, which we built to retrieve prawn and crab traps. I'm going to demonstrate this for you in a few minutes. The title to this seminar is The Merits of Thin Line Prawning. I intend to share with you some of the secrets to successful prawning. Prawning is easy, just have to do it the right way. So don't leave this presentation, because by watching it, you'll take away at least one of the most important secrets to catching more prawns. Following this pre-recorded presentation, I'll be available for questions and answers. Fishers for many of the different species of fish in our waters have lots of helpful hints and stories on how to catch fish. I mean, you've probably seen them all telling all sorts of stories about that's the size of the fish that I caught. But anyway, they've got lots of stories, and a lot of the suggestions about where to fish, what depth, the speed, leader lengths, types of bait, color and size of flashers, ebb tides, flood tides, etc., etc. The suggestions go on and on. The knowledge of these fishers is usually experience-based and is very valuable. And for goodness sakes, don't underestimate that old seasoned fisherman in his little boat at your marina. He has lots of tested secrets. And fishing for prawns is no different. There's a huge body of knowledge and advice out there about where to fish, how deep, what kind of bait, what kind of trap, etc., etc. Listening to local knowledge on these matters is extremely valuable. I'm here today to introduce you to thin line prawning. It starts by understanding one thing. The one great secret to successful prawning is to ensure that your trap's not bouncing along the ocean floor in a strong current or a rough sea. Often, when I make a presentation, seasoned fishermen who are listening will say, yeah, we know all that. We know that prawns are very skittish and will quickly swim away if a trap is moving. They go on to say that we just add a whole bunch of weight to the trap, or we put an anchor by the trap. I have to quickly try to explain that the reason the trap moves in a strong current is it's due to the drag that's created by the line from the trap to the buoy at the surface, and of course the resistance of the buoy itself. The solution to the drag is not to add weight to the trap, but to get rid of the drag. Just adding weight to the trap is counterproductive. So what do we do? Traditionally, prawn fishers have been using 400 feet of 5/16 line, leaded line, from their trap to the surface. It's been verified by divers that if you place a trap down on the ocean floor with nothing attached to it, no line to the surface, nothing attached to it, it will not move even in a strong current. But we do know that traps move, because how many times have you heard fishermen saying, my gosh, I think I left it around here somewhere, and oh, maybe somebody stole my trap. But we know that the traps move, and we know that they move because of the drag or resistance created by heavy diameter line. I have an example of line here to show you. This historically is a kind of line that prawn fishers have been using. They use it for crab fishing as well. This is 5/16 leaded line, and if you put 400 feet of that line in the water, drop it down to the ocean floor, and when a current comes along, this is what happens. The resistance against the line pushes the line off like this, and you got your float at the surface that's bouncing around in the waves, and it's doing this. and it's slowly lifting the trap off the ocean floor. And when it's moving, the prawns won't go in the trap. And worse than that, if it bounces enough that it ends up in deep water, it may float off and never to be found again. So if any of you have purchased one of our haulers recently or attended a presentation, you would have seen a fact sheet that we distribute. It has a cartoon at the top of the page, and I've got an enlargement of that fact sheet here. And you'll see that the cartoon is about two cavemen pulling a cart that's full of stones. And you'll notice that the cart has square wheels on it here, and they're having a terrible time moving the cart. There's another caveman standing nearby, and he's got two revolutionary round wheels that he's offering to them. And their message to him is, "Thank you, but we're too busy." So the message that you can take away from this cartoon is that by embracing change and technology, we can do wonders for solving problems. And it sort of magnifies the whole idea that maybe doing it the old-fashioned way isn't the right way to do it. So in regard to the line, technological advances in the production of rope and twine have resulted in new fibers being created that are very, very small in diameter but very strong. This is the foundation of our secret. We reduce the line drag by using very strong, small diameter line. Our line that we use is round, black, braided nylon. It is 2 millimeters in diameter and has a tensile strength of 450-pound test. The line has a specific gravity, more than 1, and therefore sinks in the water. Experts have done a calculation for us and tell us that our line has 14 times less resistance in the water than the 5/16 line that I just showed you. Believe me, if you do as much as you can to reduce the drag, you'll stop the trap from moving, you'll catch more prawns, you'll save a great deal of space and money, you'll lose less gear, and reduce the number of times you come up empty-handed. I'd like now to show you our new innovative line hauler and some of its features. As you can see, this line hauler is small, compact, it's very rugged. It's made of powder-coated aluminum, and all the fasteners on it are stainless steel, so there's no rusting that takes place. The the spool that fits into it is also made of aluminum, and there's 450 feet of line on that spool. Isn't it interesting that you can get that much line on a spool that you can just put in one hand? And compare that to the tub of 5/16 line that often gets buried in a bucket like this and gets all tangled up. The most surprising feature of the hauler is that you do not need an independent 12-volt power source, because our hauler is powered with your cordless drill. As you can see, we're using, for this demo here, a DeWalt 20-volt drill. Other manufacturers have similar products, and they're just as successful. So here's how it all works. You take the end of the line, the loop at the end of the line, and you put it onto the carabiner on your trap. And I might stop there for a moment to say that in readying for this to the entry of your trap into the water, you want to ensure that whatever bait that you're using, it's put into a container that is strapped to the middle of the trap, because it's very important that if the trap ends up on the ocean floor and it's tilted in any way, your container, if not strapped to the middle or contained in the middle, it'll roll to the edge, and you might have the situation where the prawns are feeding from the outside of the trap, instead of going into the prawn tunnel and getting caught inside. So now that you've got your trap baited and you're ready to put it into the water, you just throw it into the water, let all the line out off the spool, and if you wanted to speed up the descent, you could always put your engine in gear and slowly move toward an area where you would like to have your trap come to rest. All the line is taken off the spool. When you get to the end of the line, you just disconnect the line from the spool and attach it to your identifying buoy. And there it is. Voila, we're prawning. So I might stop here for a moment and introduce you to yet another innovative ProMarine product. And that's our new pickup buoy. This is a inflatable buoy that's made of PVC, and you'll see that the unique feature is that it has a handle on the top. So it's no longer necessary, if you're using one of our buoys, that you carry a boat hook, so that when you're retrieving your trap, you can grab the line underneath the float or the shackle. All you have to do is motor your boat alongside the buoy and reach over and pick it up. So I might also tell you that you want to make sure that the buoy is not too large, because it too is creating a lot of drag in the water. So the only thing that you have to do is make sure that the buoy is large enough to support the weight of your line, and large enough that you can spot it on the water. Prawns are scavengers and are attracted to a trap because of the scent of the bait. Knowing this, it's more likely that if you are in an area where there are some prawns, that they will approach the trap when the scent of the bait is the strongest. It follows that you don't really need to leave a trap in the water for more than 2 or 3 hours. If your bait is not attracted to the prawns in that time, you can easily conclude that you're in the wrong area. It's time to move somewhere else. You don't have to move very far to get into a completely different environment where there may be many more prawns. So my recommendation is this: set your trap, go fishing or do something else for a few hours, and come back and check it. If you're not satisfied with the yield, don't give up. Move the trap to a different location. So now, getting back to the process, when you return to retrieve your trap, and assuming that you're using our pickup buoy with a handle, you'll just motor up alongside the buoy, pick it up, bring it into the boat, and unhook the line from the buoy, put it onto the hauler, and start bringing in the line. And with the cordless drill, oh, and one more thing that using the drill, all you do is put it onto the shank on the spool and start reeling in all the line. It's recommended that you maneuver your boat so that the line is kept right over the trap. This may require putting your engine in gear occasionally so that you can maneuver the boat. When the trap surfaces, you lean over, grab the bridle, and lift it into your boat. Let's hope the trap is full of prawns. Oh, one more note. In the Gulf Islands, the regulations state that you can keep 125 prawns per license per day. Check the regulations in your area to see if there are any changes to that. So let me summarize the advantages of our line hauler and the use of thin line. Number one, the hauler is very, very small, compact, light. It's easy to use and stow away. 2, there's no need for an independent 12-volt power source. You just use your cordless drill. So because you don't need the independent 12-volt power source, it can be used on any size vessel. Often it's used on an inflatable like this one, and there are literally thousands of boats out there that have an inflatable tender on their swim grid that they use to get to shore when they're at anchor. So our hauler is very easily used on a tender like this where there is no 12-volt power source. There's 450 feet of line on the spool that's so small, as I showed you before, so small that you can put it in your hand. And you compare that with the tangled mess of a great big bucket of heavy diameter line. So because you don't need a great big bucket of line like that, you're saving a lot of space, which is normally at a premium in a small boat like this or otherwise. We've even had a situation where two people with kayaks purchased our hauler. They were used to fishing out of their kayaks, so they had a Scotty deck mount, and they had a fishing rod holder. When they saw this being demonstrated, they knew that they could put this line hauler into the Scotty deck mount, and they could be prawning out of a kayak, no less. So the chance of getting your line, that's the fifth advantage, is the chance of getting your line tangled is eliminated because it's all being spooled on here evenly, again, as opposed to tailing a line from one of the other haulers and it goes into a big bucket like this where it's likely to get tangled on the way in or the way out. The sixth advantage is you can have multiple spools for setting multiple traps. You could have one spool with, let's assume that you're fishing in 300 feet of water. You might want one with 400 feet of line on it. If you're regularly fishing in 275 feet, you might want to take some off so you've got 325 feet on the spool. However, you might have one other spool that's got 125 feet of line on it for fishing for crab. So the other advantage is that this hauler could be used on a small vessel as a windlass to bring up an anchor. The number 8 is the hauler can be used for stern tying your boat in a quiet anchorage. And the last, or another advantage, is that it's not often thought of, but by using thin line, you reduce the chances of theft. The thin line doesn't work well on other haulers and is virtually impossible to bring it in by hand. The most important message that I can leave with you and that you can take away from this presentation is that it's all about drag. By using thin line, you'll catch more prawns, lose less gear, save money, and reduce the number of times that you come up empty-handed. I hope that you have found this presentation to be informative. If you'd like more information, please visit our website. It's www.promarineproducts.com. And I would like to urge you and invite you to get out there on the water. Prawning is easy, it's fun. Enjoy our beautiful coast and catch lots of prawns. Good luck prawning, and thank you very much.